This is Kaufman is Alive YouTube channel. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at an old comic book. Superman number 123. It's by DC Comics. Came out in May of 1997. Dan Jurgens is the writer. Ron Frenz and Joe Rubinstein are on art. This is actually a glow-in-the-dark cover here, which is kind of a cool gimmick. You don't really see that too often, but sales were slumping for Superman back in 97, actually the whole comic book industry. So they're trying to do anything they can to bring interest back into comics and back into Superman in general. They've killed him off. They brought him back in like four different forms. None of those stuck. They brought him back with a mullet, and he's married Lois. And this is the last trick they got in the bag, is to just completely change his costume and his powers. So here's what we get. And this cover always reminds me of the Norm Macdonald joke, how they decided Superman didn't look gay enough, so they started going with this costume. And he's not really wrong. It's really not a bad design for a superhero costume, just not for Superman. I do like the like electricity bolts coming off his body. I really like the way that's drawn. And there's like this weird like spider web kind of halo around him too. And I think that looks really cool. So not a bad drawing at all or anything. So we'll get into it here. It's like I said, Rob Frenz and Joe Rubinstein are on art here, and starts out with Lois. She's driving to Star Labs. She's trying to get a containment suit for Superman because his powers are going wacko. He's been battling Scorn here. And a pretty cool splash page here. Superman Reborn is the title of this story. And we get Superman. He's losing it. He can't control his powers. Finally, he starts to focus, but it's right as Scorn's about to punch him in the face. He goes flying. I really like this panel. Nice shot of Superman getting knocked out here. Flies up into this sign. And he says he feels like he's absorbing the electricity. So it powers him up, and then he flies back down. Another really cool panel, I feel like. Some nice fists, speed lines. I really like the way this comic book's drawn. It's got good art in it. And Dan Jurgens does a good job writing it as well. It's just what they're doing to the character that not a big fan of, and I think time has kind of shown that most people really weren't. So we get Superman kind of here and what his form is now. He's got no real body or anything. I think it would have been kind of funny if they had went with that instead. But he's got to get a containment suit, which is what Lois is at Star Labs for. We peek in on what Luthor's doing here. He's talking to the Contessa, and we find out a little bit later in this issue that they're the ones who are actually supplying the polymer for the containment suit for Star Labs for Superman. So it's all kind of a big plot as far as Luthor's concerned. And he says he's more interested in Superman's salvation than his suffering. So, you know, it's kind of weird too. Whenever you see like this supervillain cliche of them like watching like multiple TVs. And I understand the point of having multiple TVs, but wouldn't they be on like different channels when you're all watching like the same channel? Would you just have like one big screen with, I don't know. Anyway, so some good faces here. I like this Lois Lane face down here. Superman arrives in a big fash of light. And basically, you know, another thing I don't really like about this change that they're trying to do to Superman, or that they did try to do to Superman, was it's basically Dr. Manhattan. I mean, he's even blue. So he's this all-powerful being, essentially. So, I guess eventually in Doomsday Clock, Superman does come face to face with Dr. Manhattan. He should have worn his blue containment suit for that. So, again, I like some of these faces in here. Really cool. Contessa arrives with the polymer. I like the robotic hand, too. And she leaves it. She says, well, basically do with it if you're going to use it, go ahead. And they decide to use it. Superman's completely evaporating now. But Superman himself goes into the containment unit. And we get a very happy Superman here. Up in the purple and pink clouds. And he says that now that he's got this suit, he can actually phase back into his human form. But he remembers that he doesn't have any clothes on. He starts falling, and he says that'd be an embarrassing way to go out. So he turns back into his blue form, and he fashes away. He says he's faster than ever. Luthor sees him out his window, so he knows that his plan is working here. Superman, he goes to visit Ma and Pa Kent. Ma's like, you told us you've been going through some changes last time you called, but this? And she says, something's missing, Clark. And he goes, the cape? Yeah, the cape's missing. That's definitely missing. And she says, no, silly, the symbol. You must simply have an S. So he draws the S on the chest using his power. Folks are happy. But he is missing the cape, too. I mean, that's kind of an essential Superman trait, I feel like. And we get a really cool splash page here to end out this issue. Superman flying away in his new bright blue costume. There's an all-new Superman in town, so... And there was a little subplot here with Scorn as well, where he visited this guy when he was on a boat, and he gives him a heart attack. Here it is, yeah. And he says, is this my curse? Everyone's, afraid of him. So at the end, he takes this guy to a hospital, and everyone at the hospital is afraid of him too. So another funny thing here as well, as they start building the suit, and Lois says, can this possibly work, Professor? And the professor says, only time will tell, Lois. Time will tell. I feel like that's kind of the writer's outlook on all of this as well. Is this going to work? Is this new suit going to work? Well, it didn't work. It bombed pretty big, but it got me to the comic shop. I bought this off the rack when it came out. Like I said, it was a cool thing at the time. Definitely doesn't hold up very well at all, but neat glow in the dark cover. I would not recommend this issue, unless you like gimmick covers like this and you're a collector. Go seek it out. I've never really seen it too much in the wild, but you could probably find one online for, I would guess, not very much. So I got a whole bunch of other videos on my channel, and I post daily reviews. So if you like this video, please subscribe and like, and I'll see you on the next one.